Hello everyone. I'm at my pen repair workstation again, and I'm sitting on a piano stool that was made for a child, I think, because my big old butt doesn't fit on it very well. My normal lab stool that I normally would have here is being used by a neighbor who has some back problems, and her therapist said she should try painting with a stool so she can rotate her body without having to turn her back. But now she's supposed to have a back on her stool, so I should get mine back from her. So I'm sitting here writing with yet more pens that were for sale yesterday, and because I started playing with them, I've decided I'm going to buy them. Now, you might wonder why this wherever is among them. And I'd be wondering that too, but it has a really nice nib in it. Now, is this nib any nicer than a Waterman or a Wall or a flexible Schaefer nib? No, not necessarily any better, but let's see, I don't even remember who made it. Who made this pen nib? Where's my loop when I want it? 14 karat. Come on, made in USA. 14 karat made in USA. It's really rubbery, and it's a great pen for sketching. Now, what about from here back is bothering me, if anything? Well, it says wherever right on it. That's bothering me, because wherevers generally are kind of crappy pens. But is that the part from here back is not important, really. There's teeth marks. It's missing a little gold band that's supposed to be here, which is not there. It has some plating wear. But its nib is really, really nice. So screw the rest of it. And this is a pen that was in a drawer that is marked artists. And that meant, another word for artists was cheapskates. No, they're not cheapskates. They are people who often don't have money to spend on a pen. So if I have a pen that maybe has a cosmetic flaw on it, like a badly engraved name that someone tried to scratch out because they wanted to obliterate that person from their memory banks, it would be nice if you could just have a trash bin in your brain and you could put everything you want to forget, relationships that were awful, embarrassing moments that were awful, and just put them in the trash can and then click empty trash, and you'd never, ever, ever think about them again. But that doesn't happen. You can have a name on your pen that you hate, and you try to cross it out with your jackknife, and then you've got even a worse pen than you had before. But anyway, so flaws. Pens with teeth marks, pens with wherever written on them, pens with other names engraved on them, that are pens that are missing a clip. I've quite often sold a pen. You know, you can have the pen with the clip or the one without the clip, side by side, and they both have identical nibs, but one is maybe $10 less or $20 less or $30 less because it has a part that's missing, and you would never ever think of buying that pen, but the rest of you will think, God, that nib is nice. So this pen I probably will not keep, but I probably will take it with me, fill it up with ink, and take it with me and do some drawings with it, just to get my money's worth out of this pen. I can say at the end of the drawing session that, okay, I got $30 worth of pleasure out of this pen because maybe I can sell the drawings for $30. And it'll be in my accounting, it'll be a net gain or loss. Let's see, what did this happen? Something of salmon. No, sell, S-A-B-O, George Sanford, $2. When did this happen? Anyway, in my accounting, in my brain, I don't do accounting on a piece of paper, but my accounting in my brain will say, okay, this pen that I paid, let's say $30 for, has given me the ability to create drawings that I can sell for $30. Let's say I sell them for $30. Let's say the paper was free and the ink was free. And I'm not charging anything for my talent. I break even. So anyway, I do that often with pens that I'm about to send off because someone bought them. I'll take them out for one last test drive and say goodbye to them, and also say, okay, well, in addition to the I'm just saying $30 for the pen that I'm selling, I got a drawing out of it. Look at that. That's my little cherry on top, or my little tip. What other pens are, well, now I've already mixed up all of my, where's my artist? I don't even have it anymore. I moved it. This is a steel nibbed pen. Here's another wherever. This should have a steel nib. Maybe it doesn't though. Where's my, oh, it has a special alloy. I can tell that from here through the dried crud. So this is not a gold nib, which is why it was in the steel nib drawer. But it has a lot of life in this nib. Now, in the fullness of time, the nib might end up springing where the elasticity goes away. But before that happens, this pen might produce some nice stuff. Now, what else is wrong with this pen? It's a wherever, so the plastic is a little tiny bit cheaper than you might see. It's a little tiny bit lighter. It might be a little bit more breakable. The pressure bars tend to be not as good as other pressure bars, but you know, I can live with that. Let's see what else is in this drawer. Steel nib. This is an Imperial. Is that what this is? Another special alloy. This is when I bought my pen company 30 years ago or more, 35 years ago, I had a bunch of these pens, and I still have some of them left. They're perfectly fine, but not springy enough to make an artist happy. They might be perfectly fine to make a writer happy. What about this one? This looks like it's a Schaefer clipper or some sort of... I need my real loop. Is this made by the Schaefer company? There's something about the clip that makes me think it's a... Come on, Pierre. How does a magnifying glass work when I'm wearing glasses? I don't think it has a... I'll try this just to humor myself. No, it's just not interesting. What's this? A Moor. Now, why is this in this drawer? I think this is a marriage. I think this nib is it a Moor nib? Iridium tipped nib. It's a steel nib, and it's shoved in this Moor pen. It's okay. A little bit of oomph in it. I realize you can't see what I'm doing because I'm using dirty water rather than actual ink. Let me get some real ink. Yes, my house is... Okay, what does this say? Blue-black, I think. This is probably Carter blue-black ink from 1930, which is sort of faded, but it still works for me for testing pens out. Now this, look at this nib, look at this line that I'm able to make with this steel nib. This is pretty sweet. It's fine and it's slightly flexible. And you know, you could go to the pen shop in your city, go to the finest pen shop that your state has to offer, and try out their most expensive fountain pen they are selling that was made in the last year, and you show me a pen that writes better than this one. I want to see it. I want to have you, this one has a very fine nib, or it writes a fine line, has a little tiny bit of flex, and you are not going to find a pen that can do this. And it's right here in my steel nibbed drawer, where normally I don't sell a pen in a steel nibbed drawer for more than $30. And oftentimes I might even sell it for less than $30. I used to sell Esterbrook pens for $10. $15 if you wanted one that had a pretty color. But Esterbrook nibs, some Esterbrook nibs were nice, but not very many were as nice as this nib, this steel nib. Now, at some point, this nib might, if ill-treated, I think this nib will last for 50 years if it is not broken by the brute that buys this pen. It's a lovely little pen. Okay, what else is in this drawer? What is this? ePenco? Yes, ePenco. Eagle Pen Company. Okay, it's missing its band. That's going to bother you. It's going to bother almost everyone. Does the pencil work? The pencil works. Pen-pencil combo. What is the nib like? You can hear the nib. That nib before you didn't hear as much. It's a little noisier. This nib is not giving me the same pleasure that the other one gave. It starts out a little bit broader and has really not the flexibility. I think if this pen and this pen were put in my hands, if I was ambidextrous and I could write with both hands, and I had a feeding tube put in my body so I wouldn't have to ever stop writing, I have a feeling that this nib would go wrong long before this one. But this could probably write a novel or two. It could write thousands of dirty limericks. Okay, so what's wrong with it? It's missing a band. Okay, try this one. What's wrong with this one? It looks like it might be a marriage. It's hard to tell on some of these pens. What is this? Congress? Ouch. Cavalier, I think. This is a very sharp, nasty nib, nasty sounding nib. The nib isn't bad. It's one of these nibs where you can sort of see that it's cheap. So we'll just leave that there. Here's one of those Estabrooks. What kind of nib does this have? This is going to be a scratchy nib. Yep, it's scratchy. It's just digging into the paper. Some of their nibs were just really bad. This doesn't want to screw on. I think it's probably might be a marriage as well on an earlier cap. What's this? Majestic. Majestic, see, I can tell from a mile off. Another iridium tipped pen. Okay, let's try to write this time. So these pens, the pens that I have in the steel drawer, this one feels like it doesn't have an inner cap. It seemed like it was just screwing. Oh, it does have one. Okay, never mind. Yes. Did I try this pen already? I did. Oh, this is a Pelican pen, I think, or a Pelican-like pen. Yeah. I did a lot of art with a pen like this in my day. What's this doing in there? This doesn't belong in there. This is a Schaefer. This is a real pen. This was put in the wrong drawer. Okay, what's wrong with this pen? Little red end. Some of these steel nibs are okay, and some of them are noisy, but okay. Some of them are just okay without being noisy. This is a noisy and okay pen nib. You know, if I was on a desert island and I only had this pen, I could do a lot of good stuff with this. As long as I had paper, good paper. Nothing wrong with it. $728.89. I suppose that's when whoever owned this pen before I did bought it. It's a cartridge pen, Schaefer cartridge pen. Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. Another Epenco. This is fluted. Does it have an Epenco nib? I think so. Okay, why doesn't this magnifying glass work? Epenco. You can just hear how nasty this one sounds. Oh, it's not as nasty now as it was 2 seconds ago. What did I do? I don't know. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. This is fluted. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it here? I think it looked like it had a little bit more of a cap on the that was chipped and someone filed it down, so that's a flaw. But so the cap, maybe it doesn't stay on the back as tightly as it might. Another European pump pen, I think. Schaefer. Okay, let's just see what this is. This is a Schaefer touchdown pen with a Schaefer steel nib. This is lovely. Again, this probably might write better than the pens that are made today. I will put this backward in the right drawer. Nothing's wrong with it. It doesn't screw on as much as it should. It should make another half turn at least. So the threads are a little bit iffy on this one, but I might be able to switch a cap with another similar pen and they might work nicely together. Or not. Does this have a name on it? It does have a name on it. Someone's name is written right on it. Anyway, go back to the first one. This Wherever with this rubbery nib. Let me know if you want to buy this pen. Just send me a letter, email. This is really quite lovely. Gold nib. No, it's not a gold nib. Yes, it is a gold nib. It was in the wrong drawer. It has a gold nib, right? 14 karat, yes, it does have a gold nib. Really a nice rubbery nib. Why did that fly off like that? Comes with teeth marks. Perfect. You want to buy this pen? Let me know. Bye.